talking about Palantir. We're going to be going over some insider selling, some new contracts they've got, as well as the upcoming double-click demo day, going over what they're going to be talking about on that as well. So before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, feel free to drop a like and hit subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And then check out the links in the description. We got the free Discord server, the Patreon, and the Weeble referral link if you want to check those out. Now let's get into it. So this article came out a couple days ago, and it says, the CEO, Alex Karp, discloses a $10.3 million stock sale, and a lot of people took this the wrong way. So if you read through the article a bit, you can see that he sold 461,534 Palantir shares, and he made about $3.9 million in shares. So the time frame for this, according to this article, says it was in late March, so the 29th to the 31st. These are scheduled sales. CEOs have to schedule their sales. We know Jeff Bezos does this annually. And it says, in the coming months, it looks like he will sell some more shares as well because he has some stock options granted in, from 2009 at 10.3 cents that will expire on December 3rd. Another 8 million options granted in 2011. Strike price of 85 cents that will also expire December 3rd. The reason he will likely sell these is because exercising those options will cost him 12.8 million. He will receive stock worth 1.6 billion that will create a mammoth tax bill, and he's likely to sell a substantial portion of those. Now, the reason I'm not worried about it is because he still holds a ton of Palantir shares, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on. So a bit more on the CEO and Palantir insiders selling some shares. You have to understand that Palantir has been around for 17 years, and these people have had this stock for a long time, and now that it's actually worth a decent amount, they want to cash in some profits. They probably want to go on vacation, invest in real estate or other ventures, maybe buy a house. You never know what these people want to do, but after holding something for so long and it's finally accumulating some nice value, they're going to want to take some profits and cash in a bit. So that's why I'm not too concerned with what's going on with Palantir and the insiders selling. Just as long as, you keep enough to make your shareholders feel comfortable holding your stock. So as you guys know, coming up on April 14th at 11 a.m., we are going to get Palantir's double-click demo day. So this is going to be a series they're going to do. And if you guys remember, back in January, they did their first demo day. Now this one's going to be diving into Foundry and how it's used by customers across the life sciences and industrials. These demos will highlight how our customers deploy end-to-end use cases in a matter of clicks, from everything from clinical research to analysis of real-world evidence, from field force optimization to lot and sensor data, from connected cars. And then just scrolling down a bit, they're going to get into the life sciences, completing the patient picture, keeping medical data safe, improving patient outcomes, and accelerating discoveries. And then we get down into industrials, so optimizing the value chain, powering root cause analysis for safer products, unlocking high-scale, low-latency lot and sensor data, and connecting complex supply chain networks. And if you guys do remember, the first demo day was all about their government and commercial use of Foundry and Gotham, and now this one is getting into life sciences and industrials. So I personally like where Palantir is sitting. I have been accumulating shares right now, and I've been loading up anywhere from the 21 to 23 range. I actually still think anything under 25 with a longer term outlook is decent for Palantir. My plan right now, accumulate enough shares to be able to sell covered calls and not be worried about them getting called away from me, still have extra shares left over. My hope is that their stock price rises and hypes up closer to the event, and that way the premium of these contracts increase and I make more money selling covered calls. Now, some people like to take a bit of a gamble, and we know the event is on the 14th, so you could see some people, playing some call options closer leading up to this event. And even something like a 25 strike, you're basically risking $60. I would say anything in April, be willing to lose, but there's a lot of open interest on these calls leading into that event. So you could turn the $60 into something, much bigger if it were to hype up like the previous event. But just know that anything in April is very, risky and considered a gamble. But something I did want to show everyone is that their long calls, so out to January of 2022, gives you plenty of time to be in the money. This is what I personally went with. I went with the 25 strike, so I'm pretty much at the money. Plenty of time to get in the money. There's a decent amount of open interest on that. The $30 strike has a ton of open interest and volume. So these are some pretty cheap options plays that give you plenty of time to, not worry on the day-to-day fluctuations and let Palantir hit these strikes. Some awesome news for Palantir that came out recently is they have been selected for the National Nuclear Security Administration for a 5-year contract up to $89.9 million for the SAFER project. So today it announced they had been selected for this National Nuclear Security Administration to provide its Office of Safety, Infrastructure, and Operations with a platform for effective knowledge management and data-driven decision-making in an agreement worth up to $89.9 million for a duration of up to 5 years. So that's pretty awesome news. They also got one for the Department of Energy, potentially worth $89 million. And if I click on this link, it shows that so far $7 million has been filled out of the $89.9 million, and it could be worth up to $89.9 million. So these are some pretty big contracts for Palantir, and it's just great for the company and awesome to see them continue to bring in these big contracts. Now getting into this article from Trevor Genuine from The Motley Fool. He's talking about his top recent tech IPO to buy in April. He's obviously talking about Palantir, and he mentions their total addressable market, which is something I love about Palantir. So they are government backed, they deal with government agencies and commercial enterprises, but more so, they have a large TAM, which is what you want in a growth company. It gives them more opportunity in the future, and I think Palantir will be able to reach a lot of customers in the future. It also talks about their new partnerships. He mentions a lot of 2020 partnerships, but I just discussed their two most recent partnerships and deals. He gets into their financial performance and, growing 35% compound annual growth rate. Hopefully they can keep that type of growth up going forward. I personally believe they can. And then he gets into a final word mentioning that it does trade pricey, 38 times trailing 12-month sales, which is rich in valuation combined with its lack of profitability. So it has made the stock rather volatile. However, I'm personally long on this, so I really don't care what Palantir does in the short term. I actually welcome the sell-offs because I was able to build out a bigger position in the low 20s, which is something that I was, really happy about. And the CEO, Alex Karp, even mentions in an interview, if you're in Palantir for the short term, this isn't the right stock for you. It's going to be volatile. And he says, there's a ton of other stocks out there. You don't have to buy Palantir. And, I really do appreciate a CEO addressing that and being straight up with investors.
We're in this for the long haul. If you are speculating or you are, or you're thinking about the short term, there are plenty of other things to invest in. We're building the company we believe in. We're going to do it for the long haul. There'll be ups and downs. My lawyers won't let me say more than that, but it's obvious. And if you want something else, it's a huge world. Buy some other stock.
So like we just mentioned, Palantir will be volatile in the short to midterm. And if you don't have that long-term outlook and conviction over the company, then this will be hard to stomach the ups and downs that this stock will take. Recently, they did have some bad news where a lawsuit resulted in the British government not extending Palantir's contract with the National Health Service. And, that obviously hurts the company. But I am bullish on them, like this article says, primarily because they deal in the most valuable commodity in the 21st century, which is data. I do think they are a top dog when it comes to data. They're also, a defense contractor with strong links to America's national security institutions. And this article also goes on to mention that Palantir is a rock-solid investment that will increasingly become recession-proof. So that's pretty much it, guys. Just the latest news on Palantir leading up to the DoubleClick demo day on April 14th. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on Palantir below, and have a good one.